Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity. We have our Carnivore Q&A Thursday Night Live. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be answering your questions. And we've got Adam from Carnivore today. How's it going, Adam?
Doing great, Kerry. How are you?
Doing wonderful. The real Dr. Nelson from Kilt's Health. How's it going, Dr. Nelson? Good to see you. And we got Lynn, Midlife Carnivore.
Hello.
Hello. Awesome. So we're going to be answering all of your questions. But before we do that, we got one quick announcement, maybe two. We still got some tickets left, Dr. Nelson, right? I think it's almost sold out, but Boston? Oh, I think you're muted, Dr. Nelson.
You're muted.
They were in the tens.
So maybe if you're lucky, there might be one or two left. June 28th, which is in 2 days. Boston meetup with Dr. Nelson, Dr. Kiltz, Professor Seafried. Adam and I are going to be there.
A little bit over 36 hours from now, we'll be there.
And you can, if you want to get one of those last tickets, you can go to kiltzmeetup.com. Kiltzmeetup.com. And then we've got Montello Theater, July 26th. That's 1 month from today.
Yay.
Healing Humanity meetup at the world famous Montello Theater. There's a couple tickets left there, but those are going quick as well. And you can get those at healinghumanity.movie/events. And there is a link in the description below. And then the last announcement before we start taking your questions, we want to hear your story. If you have found healing on a proper human diet, please share your story. healinghumanity.movie/testimony. We're looking for stories for our upcoming Healing Humanity series, which will be several episodes, and the book we're working on, healinghumanity.movie/testimony. All right, so we're going to take your questions.
We do have one more meetup in Columbus. That's less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months. Adam, can you tell us about Columbus? Because I don't have a graphic for that one yet.
I'll see if I can find it. But if you go to healinghumanity.movie/events, all the details are there. Columbus, Ohio, August 23rd. I have heard that Russ from Homesick Buckeye is going to be there, so I don't know if people wanted that warning or not. But
that's a warning?
Yeah. Russ is awesome, so we're looking forward to seeing him.
He's definitely, I spoke to him. He's definitely going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And we have a comment from Booby Goat. She said, I shared my story. It was painless.
Nice.
Excellent.
Thank you for sharing. Awesome. So, yeah, we've got the Ohio meetup, and there's more, too, like Syracuse. So go to kiltzmeetup.com. Dr. Kiltz has done a good job listing all of the upcoming meetups.
And I want to point out that coming back now from Boston, just a few days from today, only 6 days from today, will be in Melbourne. We have a meetup in Melbourne with Old Guy Carnivore.
Mitch.
The link is already in the Kiltz Meetup page. And basically, you just pay for it's a Brazilian steakhouse. It's a little bit more economical than the bigger ones, like Texas de Brazil, or, it is not as expensive. And the lunchtime usually is less expensive as well. So it's on July 2nd at 11:30 a.m. in Melbourne. The link is in the Kiltz Meetup page. Nice.
Awesome. Shout out Old Guy Carnivore Mitch. Love that guy. He's been doing awesome. He's like almost back to his schedule, I think, with the live streams and stuff like that. I pretty much watch him. I watch him pretty often. Shout out Mitch. All right. We're giving away a Healing Humanity t-shirt in blue. So please post your best question with hashtag ribeye. It's got to be a question. Any question you have, whether it's about Healing Humanity, the documentary, or any questions you have about Carnivore Diet, hashtag ribeye. All right, let's see. I think we got Caleb's Carnivore Quest is here. $2 super chat. Hey, Caleb, thank you so much for that.
How's it going, Caleb?
Caleb has got a wonderful YouTube channel of his own, Caleb's Carnivore Quest.
I think he was wanting to know if he could bring his arm wrestling deal to Montana, but we're not the gatekeepers for that one. So you have to get with Bella.
Right.
See if, I'm sure she wouldn't care, but maybe better ask first.
Rematch, Dr. Baker rematch. We have a question from Meathead. Will carnivore lifestyle help someone heal faster and better after surgery?
Big yes on that one. My good friend Lindy from Limitless Lindy has shared personally with me her experience of recovering from her skin removal surgery. And she just told me about how shocked the nurses that took care of her were and how quickly she healed after her surgery. And she was just amazed. And it makes sense because you're dealing with a diet that is less inflammatory. And so when your body's not fighting all this inflammation, then it heals better.
Absolutely. All right. All right. We've got another question from Where's the Beef? How long to see neurological improvement on carnivore? 6 months, 1 year?
I can start with that since Kerry might contest this, but I did see neurological improvement with brain injury, and my symptoms completely reversed within 5 months. By no means am I saying that is possible for you. You're on your own journey, but I have heard others taking much longer than that, a year, 2 years, and potentially some neurological conditions will never fully resolve themselves. So I'd love to hear Dr. Nelson's take on that. Not my brain injury.
Does Adam still have brain damage, Dr. Nelson?
We will mention game of chess.
That was a test.
6 months, 1 year, yeah. 2 years, yeah. The brain, for example, most people probably know that the liver regenerates and regenerates very quickly. And we have all the cells in our body are constantly turning over. The body, we talk about autophagy, that's happening constantly. We can turn up the volume on that, so to speak, with fasting and time restricted eating. And some parts of our body take longer, and the nervous system is one, if not probably the one that takes the longest. Regenerating brain cells is very difficult. Sometimes when you have a brain injury, like here, or stroke, or mini stroke, boy, all you guys are being really sick. Anyways, it may take a long time. So some symptoms may improve within just, let's say, 3 months, 90 days. Some will continue to exist indefinitely, maybe. I do have neuropathy. I still have some numbness and tingling in my feet. It is a lot better since I went carnivore, which was 3 days short. We're celebrating in Boston my 2-year carniversary, by the way.
Hey.
It's on Sunday, my 2 years. So bring gifts. So
preferably ribeye.
I still have some symptoms. I will probably have them, but are they better? Yes. For Father's Day, I went to play mini golf. I haven't really played golf ever, but this is what was remarkable about this. I was able to bend and pick up the ball every time on every hole without getting dizzy. And you might not think that that's remarkable, but I could not do that.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Every time, if I try to bend to pick up a little golf ball, I will probably fall.
Yeah, I think improvement versus resolution are definitely two different things. I've heard so many stories from people of relatively quick improvement. Not that it's resolved, but they do see it starting to get better without too much time. But again, like Dr. Nelson said, the nervous system is usually the slowest, and very often you need higher fat in order to heal the nervous system. So 80% plus is with fat. I'm sure, who knows how long it would have taken for Adam if you'd known that from the beginning, right?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
So the
I
5
wouldn't have had to
months
go through
was,
6 years
We're,
of
we're still
living hell,
counting,
basically.
though. We'll see.
yeah, complete resolution. Carrie's still not sure, but
No, and if we compare, for example, pain, talk about migraine. Like Kerry's wife can also talk about that, but pain in general of many conditions goes out the window fairly quickly for most people. Even if your degenerative changes in your knees, your hip, your back, those might never go away. If they take an X-ray, they'll be there, but the pain resolves.
and that's the most important thing, is whether you still have a condition or not, to have less pain makes a huge difference in your quality of life.
Absolutely. Lori, July 1st will be my 90 days, and I'm finally migraine free. Congratulations.
Yay. Wonderful.
And I bet no neurologist ever told her to change her diet.
Right. Yeah. The Feral Grandma, question for people who have successfully quit seed oils for a long while. Anyone finding that accidentally get some, like hotel breakfast, feel sick after? Oh yeah, lots of head shaking there. I've had it happen where you totally like, what is going on? Something's happening here. Oh, that's right. I ate at a restaurant. Sometimes it's really impossible to get around it. I've told people this before on my channel. I just tell people now, I am allergic to seasonings and seed oils. I used to feel bad about saying that, almost like I'm lying, but if I'm having a sick reaction afterwards, does that qualify as an allergic reaction? I don't know, but I do know that when you use the word allergy, they actually listen, versus if it's just like, I prefer you don't use seed oils. Oftentimes that message gets missed, but I think they think legal action, lawsuit, like this could be dangerous when they hear the word allergy. So that's something that's helped me a little bit, but it's still impossible to miss it sometimes.
Yeah, my gut will tell me, and my joints.
Kerry, what restaurant were we at where we had the last discussion about seed oils? Was it Outback or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, with Anthony.
Yeah, Outback. So it's just for people that don't know, I didn't know this, and I probably never would have known this unless we told them that we were allergic to seed oils. They supposedly they fry everything in tallow now, right? So, oh, this is so great and whatnot. But they came out and asked us, like, do you have an allergy to a seed oil? And we're like, well, why are you asking us that? We already kind of told you this, right? So we found out that they cook everything in the tallow vat, the fried chicken, the French fries, and everything else. But I guess the French fries are parboiled, so they're like partially cooked before they get them, and then they're frozen and sent to the restaurant. Well, they parboil the fries in seed oils. So when they put the fries in the vat of tallow, that seed oil leaches into the tallow, and then it's cooked with everything else. So
yeah, and not to pick on the same restaurant, but their butter is not real butter; it's a mix of vegetable seed oils. So it's Texas Roadhouse, by the way. I know Kerry goes sometimes there. They worked for more than a year, and I asked every single time for more than a year, is that real butter? Yeah, the butter with the bread, it's got sugar, and that one definitely is not good. But the other butter that they would bring with your broccoli, which is, if you ask for the whipped butter, for more than a year, they were telling me that it was real butter until someone posted online. You can probably find it. A picture of the label, of the actual butter. It's got mixed vegetable oils. The only one I have found, because they showed me also, they actually brought the top of the tub was Longhorn. Longhorn is real butter.
Ah,
okay.
Good to know. Kathleen asks, hashtag ribeye, why do I get so sleepy after I eat my carnivore meal?
Good question.
Well, I mean,
Digestion makes you
yeah,
sleepy.
exactly. Yeah, when you digest, certain people, more blood rushes to their gut area in order to digest the food, and some people can get a little sleepy with that. But that's really all I got on that one.
If you think ancestrally, you had to probably fast it for several days because there was no food. You found food, killed it, ate it, and what did you do after it? Probably took a nap.
And
And
she may be
lion, if you
extra
look at lion,
sensitive. She may be extra aware too, because there's probably a lot of us who get sleepy and just push through it and kind of ignore it. And if we really pay close attention, we may find that we could use a nap after eating too.
traditionally, there are some countries, the siesta, and in some Spanish countries, in Spain, I think, even today, they close in the middle of the day to take a nap. It's built into the culture.
Yeah.
Dr. Kilt says, take a nap.
David Rogers asks, have you heard of anyone who has improved their vestibular migraines with a low-carb or carnivore diet? I have not. My wife has completely gotten rid of her migraines. Vestibular, is that like inner ear or something? I don't know. I don't know if she had that specifically, but she's got rid of her migraines, and I've heard of several other people as well get rid of migraines on carnivore diet.
Yeah. I mean, it's anti-inflammatory. So I would imagine it would help.
Jets Afterburner. Is this Dan? I'm New York accent. I'm down 65 friggin' pounds. Not very good accent there. Yesterday was my birthday, and my wife made a huge beef loaf, 44 candles, feeling 24. I feel amazing. Currently having dinner with you guys, New York Strip. That's awesome, Dan. Congratulations.
Appropriate cut if you're
Happy
from
birthday.
the
Right.
New
Keep
York.
it all New York.
New York accent. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. That's awesome. Jamie's hashtag ribeye. I enjoy seasonings and I'm diabetic. Will I still be able to reduce my A1C and lose weight with seasonings?
Yeah, Dr. Nelson.
Probably, but the good thing about eliminating everything is that when you try to reintroduce it, you might realize things that you never thought that were causing an issue. Now you realize they are causing an issue. Pepper is a frequent one, where you'll have histamine reactions. You have itching. You'll have heartburn.
Yeah.
And you never thought that was just the black pepper. It's pretty high in oxalates as well. So, as a suggestion, might not be a bad idea to do a trial, even if it's 30 days. Just strict carnivore, no spices, and see, and then you can
Just salt.
introduce them.
Yeah. Do you see? Yeah. I mean, you just salt, I would say. But if you do end up having a issue with pepper, my pepper substitute is black cumin seed, which is not cumin. It's different. It's black cumin seed, Nigella sativa. And I get a bag from Amazon and I just toast it over a dry skillet and I put it in my pepper grinder. It has a peppery taste. I actually prefer it to pepper, but it is a mast cell stabilizer and very low histamine. And so it's a really good substitute if you like that peppery taste, but can't handle the pepper.
All right, we got a question from Chris. If you have a question for us, post it with hashtag ribeye. We're giving away a Healing Humanity shirt. We're going to do a drawing here shortly. Chris is asking, does pure Mexican vanilla have sugar? I'm getting mixed answers. I'd like to use it in my coffee.
I'll take a stab at this one. So I'm not familiar with pure Mexican vanilla. but vanilla is it's an extract, so it's typically extracted with either alcohol or glycerin, both of which are plant-based. But typically, if you're doing a pure extract, it's not going to have sugar in it at all. That way it can be more shelf stable. So I'm not sure that I can exactly answer your question, but typically vanillas don't have sugar in it.
I've seen a lot. I've seen some Mexican vanilla, and just in a bottle. I'm not as super familiar with it because I took a look at the ingredients and there was a lot of chemicals in it. There may be cleaner forms of it, but if you do like vanilla, and if it has to be Mexican, you might want to take like vanilla bean powder, which you can get just completely. That's all it is vanilla bean powder. And then I think with Mexican, do you just add some cinnamon? I'm not 100% sure, but
I don't know. What's the Spanish word for it, Dr. Nelson? Does that make it Mexican?
Well, vanilla is vainilla. It's the same word with it's VAINILLA. So it's the same word. I wasn't aware that there is a Mexican vanilla extract different from, but I just looked up the ingredients and it may have up to 3 grams of carbs per serving.
Yeah, but sugar, it shouldn't have sugar. But if you're looking for as clean as possible, like if I make Dr. Kiltz's ice cream and I want to make vanilla, I have a pure ground vanilla bean powder that I use.
We've got a $10 super chat from our good friend Chris Stearns.
Woo.
He's going to put me to work here. How much meat could a meat chuck if a meat chuck could chuck roast? Hashtag ribeye. Hello, everybody.
Excellent. Hello, Chris.
And the answer to that riddle is not enough. Never enough. Thank you so much, Chris. Hey, Chris is coming to our big Montello meetup. I'm really looking forward to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So I'll get to meet Chris in person finally.
I'm going to, but I'm gonna be staying in Oxford.
Oh yeah, that's right down the road.
There was not a vet in Montello.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully, we're looking forward to seeing you. I just got word from Kim. There's a tornado warning southwest of you. So if you guys see me get sucked out of this window, you'll understand my dedication.
Well, at least we're done filming.
Yeah, right. Adam, the responsibility is yours to complete the documentary. Speaking of that, that's a good transition. D. Lee had a question. Do you by any chance know offhand how many interviews you will have in the Healing Humanity documentary? I could give you an estimate. We're actually editing everything together. We just completed our 60th interview. We have 400 hours worth of footage. Not every one of those 60 interviews is going to be in the main documentary, though. Some of them, many of them will end up in the series afterwards. But we're hoping to touch on quite a few just to show the scale. And yeah, so we're on the home stretch. We've finished filming all of the interviews for the main documentary, and now we're editing and working on all of that stuff. So, and we have a new trailer that's going to be coming out very, very soon. So stay tuned for that.
But the final product is going to be just under 2 hours, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Just for anyone who got like 4,000 hours, like freaked out.
Yeah.
Need
But it could be
a
like
mini
Lord of the
fridge
Rings
and a
length.
sleeping bag when you watch it.
That's honestly the biggest challenge with all of this is there's so much good stuff, and this isn't patting myself or Adam on the back. Just all of these stories are so powerful, literally life or death stories. So it's really hard to edit that down to, hey, what do we include in here? But we're gonna include the best that we can, and then the rest will be in the series. Which we were talking about this before. I'm almost a little bit more excited about the series. We're gonna have an episode on every major health issue. Hopefully, if we can continue and we have funds left after doing the main documentary. So we got a question from Hack and Slack, and then we're going to do the drawing. So post your questions quick. Hashtag ribeye. Is anyone concerned about histamines or certain amino acids I stick to egg yolks and only certain meats or certain cuts to avoid glutamine, for instance? Also, cod liver is near the top.
So I'd be curious if the why avoiding the glutamine, or if that's supposed to say glutamine, because glutamine tends to be really beneficial when it comes to histamine, although in some rare cases people have issues with it. But
So what happens is, Kerry might even know this because he's interviewed Dr. Seifried a few times. Well, at least
Cancer.
2, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So cancer cells feed off glucose and glutamine.
right.
So I'm taking a stab that this person might be dealing with something like
Yeah.
that. And
If you have cancer, that would be, a reason
so,
to avoid it.
however, glutamine is the most abundant amino acid. There's no way to avoid it. Like there is no way to make your glucose 0. Okay, there's no way. So what Dr. Seifert recommends is doing the press pulse therapy. Search for it. I can send you an email if you want, because Dr. Seifert had sent me an email when I was going through that. And I use as part of my treatments 3 or 4 days a week, 7 anti-glutamine supplements. I have a list of 10. I was only using 7 as part of what I was doing in addition to my treatments every week. So if that's the reason, it'd be good to try to avoid glutamine. There is no way of doing it by avoiding. I mean, you'll have to become a completely vegetarian if you want to avoid glutamine. Maybe vegan. You
But
cannot avoid it.
histamines, you can definitely keep them minimal as far as in your diet. Sticking to egg yolks, absolutely. Not just the cuts of meat, but the freshness of the meat, how you cook the meat is definitely important. Again, like we mentioned, check out my histamine video on my channel, Midlife Carnivore. I go into a lot of detail about eating.
And if what he or she was trying to write was histamine there instead of glutamine, just forget about everything I said.
I'll just add real quick too. If anyone is going through cancer, you have a loved one and you want more info, Professor Seifried, if you Google Professor Seifried Boston College, and I have his permission to say this, by the way, because at first I'm like, this is crazy. He must get so many emails, but he's got a big team that works with him. He actually has his email address right on there, and you can email him, tell him the type of cancer you're going through, and they'll send you a packet of information kind of specific for the type of metabolic therapy you could look at for that type of cancer. So.
But in the absence of a cancer situation here, I would be curious about the avoidance of glutamine, because the glutamine actually is beneficial for people with histamine issues. It can help your immune system. It helps your gut integrity, the barrier integrity. It helps with breaking down. It helps support the DAO enzyme breaking down histamine. So I would be more focused, if it's just a histamine issue, on making sure you know what foods are higher in histamine, and then also how to stick with fresh, not smoked, not aged, possibly even needing to freeze your leftovers if you're really sensitive.
They did comment that the glutamine concern is regarding brain cancer.
Yeah, there you go. So that makes sense.
Get a hold of Dr. Seifried's. I have the email that he sends out, so if you want to email me, I can forward it to you, because he sends the same package to everyone. He's not a medical doctor. He tells you immediately, I'm not a medical doctor, but this is out of his research. And he's going to be in Boston in 2 days.
That's going to be amazing. Get to hear Professor Seifried speak. He's been talking about cancer as a metabolic disease, I think, for about 30 years now. And he's doing some incredible work. We're so blessed to have interviewed him for the documentary. Interviewed him and most of his team working at the cancer lab there in Boston. So excited to see him in person. All right, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to give away Healing Humanity shirt in blue. Hashtag ribeye. We got 45 entries. Here we go.
All right.
The winner of a Healing Humanity shirt in blue. And if you don't win and you still want to get a cool Healing Humanity shirt, there's a link in the description below. Every penny we get from the merchandise goes 100% to the documentary. Congratulations, PR64. Adam, where can PR64 claim their shirt?
Well, Kerry, P space R64 can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and we will promptly send you your prize. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right. And now we're going to do one more giveaway for a 1-month free membership on healinghumanity.life. It's our membership site. We have courses, we have community. We do about 12 Zoom calls a week. We have breaking addictions calls, doctor experts. We just did our Inspired Together call. We do that every Thursday. It's a really fun call. So #life, post your best question, and we're going to randomly pick a winner for that. And if you don't win, you can see there on the bottom of the screen. There's also a link in the description. You can get 50% off your first month using code LIFE625. Looks like we got a super chat here from Joshua029. Thank you so much, Joshua. $10 super chat. I have my CMP and A1C results. Is there some place I can go to have this reviewed from a carnivore's perspective? I have no clue at what I'm looking at, to be honest.
I'm willing to look at them from a carnivore nurse's perspective. If you want to email me, you can email me at lynn@healinghumanity.movie. And I also have connections with other people. So I'm definitely willing to take a look at them for you.
All right. Here we go. And another question, PR64. Can I get tickets to the Boston meetup? Yes, you can. KiltzMeetup.com. There's a couple left. KiltzMeetup.com. Love to see you out there. All right. The next question we have is Midwest, #ribeye Kerry. How long did it take you to reverse your congestive heart failure? Well, I don't know the precise amount, but I did go in to get my heart tested almost exactly 1 year into starting carnivore. And that was when I did a heart echo and my ejection fraction reversed. It was 44 before. It was like 65 after. And the doctor wrote right in my medical records, you have no evidence of cardiomyopathy. So I tested it at a year. But honestly, I feel like it happened a little bit sooner than that, but who knows? But
well, it probably would have been when you started to feel more energy and stamina.
Exactly. And that was around 6 months. I said the story before, I'll make it quick, but the one constant was going to church. And before, when I'd go to church, before carnivore, I'd get dizzy when I'd stand up. I'd always get dizzy when I was standing up. Like I would just lose my breath all the time, was always fatigued. And a couple months into carnivore, that started going away. And I remember one time at church saying to Jen, I'm like, I'm not dizzy anymore. Like I'm jumping up out of the chair where I could barely do that before. So I feel like it was 6 months, but I didn't get the official test till 1 year. Dr. Nelson, congrats on 2 years.
Thank you.
Brookie asks, anyone know of a T1D that had beta cell regrowth on high-fat carnivore?
I know of a case study from Dr. Zofia Clemens' group, Paleomedica. Am I saying it right? Now, this was on someone who was fairly newly diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I believe it was a 19-year-old male. And they actually did see. They were able to actually reverse the type 1 diabetes and noted the beta cell regrowth. And when I read her case study, she was clear that this was, someone fairly newly diagnosed. So to expect that necessarily for someone who's been type 1 diabetic for a long time may not be realistic. I don't know if Dr. Nelson, if you've read anything or not.
However, I'm looking for a study that was just published on type 1 diabetics. I'll put it up in the chat in a second. Okay, it was a type 1 diabetic stem cell study. I found it.
Mm. Yeah, but many type 1 diabetics can significantly lower their insulin requirement.
Yeah, I had just this afternoon Amy Perrin telling her story.
Brisket Boomers is her channel, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's gonna come out, but it's in the chat. That link is a type 1 diabetes study that was just published.
All right, we got a question. How do I have all of a sudden gout in my toe after 5 months of carnivore?
Well, first of all, you need to be sure it's gout, but it could happen. For a lot of people, they'll go carnivore or very low carbohydrates or eat a lot of sardines, and they may have a gouty uh, attack. But it seems that it happens, and then after that, the frequency of recurrences decreases significantly.
Yep, I've heard that same thing. I've heard from a lot of people that overcame gout by doing carnivore, but just like Dr. Nelson said, oftentimes they have one or two flare-ups first. They get kind of scared, but then that's it afterwards. I think I had gout. I don't know, Dr. Nelson. They told me I had gout. Then the next doctor said, you don't have gout. Then the next one said, yeah, it probably was gout. But whatever it was in my toe that hurt so bad I could barely step down on it is completely gone on carnivore. I didn't have any flare-ups afterwards either, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and I don't remember the time frame of what I read about that, but I know, like you said, it's really common to have one last, one or two last flares and then they go away. But I don't know about 5 months into it, whether
Yeah,
that's
I was going to say 5 months seems to be a long time for having that first episode, but there is a lot of improvement in a lot of conditions. We don't eliminate everything, but if you were having a recurrence 2-3 times a year and you have one a year, that's improvement. So we don't know a lot of information about this person, but
is that a problem for somebody if they've never had a gout attack before and then all of a sudden they're having a gout episode?
the people I've heard with gouty arthritis attacks, they all had a history. Now that doesn't mean it couldn't happen to someone, but what I have seen, heard that have a gouty attack after going carnivore or heavy sardines, or organs have a lot of purines, fruits, sugar, which I'm hoping if you're carnivore you're not consuming them, but fructose is probably as much or more of a risk of getting a gout attack than any meat ever is. Red meat, by the way, is in the moderate category of purines. If you look up the list of a low purine diet, they'll have high, moderate, and mild. The organ meats are in the high category. The red meat, the muscle, that's in the moderate category. And none of them mention fructose. Fructose causes probably more or as many gouty attacks as a high purine diet.
All right, good stuff. We got a question from St. Sean. I'm about to give up coffee. Can you say a few words about your feelings on it? Thank you, healers. Do it. Get rid of it. Good job. I never drank coffee. I was addicted to diet soda, but I will say a lot of people give up a whole bunch when they start carnivore, and many keep coffee and they do just fine, and it's probably a good bridge. But if you can get rid of it eventually, I say there's nothing better in life than not having any addictions whatsoever when you get rid of that coffee one. So you can do it. Good luck.
I've been on coffee, off coffee, and back on and back off the whole time I've been carnivore. And it's like, it's hard because sometimes you feel a little better with it, and sometimes I feel better off of it. I think in general, I do feel better off of it. So sometimes I wonder if it's not just carryover from the whole being a food addict, and it's just like a comfort thing to have the hot coffee in the morning, and it's part of that routine. So you maybe, I just say, see how you feel off of it, maybe wean off of it so you don't get crazy headaches, and maybe go to decaf and because the headaches are the thing that is the biggest problem when I try to get off of coffee, and drink more water.
Question from Terry. Hashtag ribeye. We're doing hashtag life now too. If anyone has a question, hashtag life. We're going to be giving away Healing Humanity membership. My hair is falling out. How long will that last?
This is for Dr. Nelson.
Dr. Nelson's case forever. I experienced that, and it was very traumatic when you get these handfuls of hair, in the shower. I found that I had to eat more. I added breakfast because I was just doing OMAD at the time. I added breakfast. I also started taking some desiccated liver capsules, and then later transitioned to like a hair, skin, and nails like vitamin. I would say so. That was February of 2024, and right now my regrowth is about right here. So it does start to regrow. I only had like 1 month where I noticed it falling out, and then that stopped. But the regrowth is what takes time. So be patient. It will grow back in.
Hendrickson Family Farm has a question. Hashtag life. Why do men always lose weight faster on carnivore diet than women?
From what I've gathered with this, men are, ancestrally, let's put it this way, women are designed to store fat because of giving birth to children. So men don't have that part of their physiology. So typically it's a little bit easier for men to lose weight. At least that's what I've come across. What do you think, Kerry?
Yeah, we're being very careful here. No, I was just gonna say, I think also the weight loss is just a nice benefit of doing carnivore. What really happens is your body heals, and people heal at different time frames. Everyone's different. Just a quick example with my wife, she delivered triplets. I never delivered triplets, so she had a lot of healing to do. I don't know what that did to her liver, to her body. Like, she had inflammation in her legs since the triplets were born 18 years ago. I didn't have to go through any of that. So maybe childbirth is a big part of it as well. I also feel like, I don't know if it's okay to say this, but I feel like men are maybe more likely to just be fine eating raw fatty meat in many cases, where maybe women aren't. I don't know. Is that in many cases? I don't know. That's what I got.
Tip so much, Kerry?
Yeah.
I think Adam
hormonal.
has a point ancestrally speaking. Women go through 3 major periods of insulin resistance in their lives, and they have more tendency to gain weight because of that. Adolescence, pregnancy, and menopause. And if then you have multiple pregnancies, then you're adding times. Men usually will have more muscle as well. Our metabolisms are not the same. We do have the same hormones, but we have different ratios and amounts of those hormones. Because women have testosterone, we have testosterone, but we don't have the same amounts. So yeah, we're not the same. And women are probably, for example, pain. Women endure pain better than men, right? Everybody knows that. When it comes to pain, we don't like it. Not that women like it, but they can go through it better.
I used to tease my husband and say he'd have a man cold, because that's the same as everyone else's cold, except for you're a man, and so you think you're dying.
Well,
But
we are.
that is a near-death experience.
Exactly.
All right. So, St. Sean asks, do any of you top your hamburgers with anything interesting? Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs, yes.
That's one of my favorites. Other than that, not really. Salt, yeah, Malden's sea salt.
Every great once in a while, I will allow my health self to have a slice of cheddar cheese on a hamburger, but it is rare because my body does not really like dairy. I have to know that if I do that, my sinuses are going to clog up, and I have to just accept that that's going to happen. But otherwise, bacon and eggs.
let's see. We got another question here.
We're getting a lot of questions tonight, man. People are asking some really good ones too.
Good one.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track here. Let's see. Where's the next one? TK Carnivore, I've been increasing macros a bit over the last 3 to 4 weeks and noticed I'm getting more hungry rather than less. Thoughts or experience with this?
What does increasing macros mean? I mean, which macros are increasing? Is it the fat or is it the protein that's increasing?
Or everything. And we don't know the weight either, because as you approach more fit weight, you may become more hungry especially if you're doing any type of activity.
Well, could it be that the sensitivity, like the hunger hormones are kicking in when you really like start to nourish your body really well? Because so many of us, our hunger hormones have been suppressed over the years if we've been restricting in particular. And so sometimes eating more, getting that nourishment, your hunger hormones start to regulate and kick in better.
Yep, your metabolism starts ramping up a little bit. At least it does for me.
Yeah.
Jennifer's asking about craving pork belly. Is eating 3 ounces of this about 5 days a week? Is this the same as eating bacon?
Kind of, sort of. It's not cured like bacon is.
Yeah, it's usually from the pork belly that you get the bacon, except the bacon is processed, cured, goes through a process. So you're eating the same cut. Might be, for some people might say it's better than eating the bacon because of the processing.
And it's delicious.
I have chronic Lyme disease, a big fibroid with a lot of discomfort, and hyperthyroid, for which my endocrinologist wants to do radioactive iodine, which I don't want. Would carnivore help?
Dr. Nelson.
So I've heard of people with each one of these conditions separately having improvement. Having all together, it probably also improve. Radioactive iodine, it's sort of a final therapy. You do it and you kill your thyroid usually, so it doesn't come back. If you do that, you need to be sure about your decision. I'm not telling you not to do it, but you're most likely taking medication, which you can continue taking for a few months if your doctor agrees and let you try something different. You can try 90 days, and because of the Lyme disease and the fibroid, I definitely would do a high fat, carnivore type of diet. 70, 80, even % of your calories from fat, as opposed to 20, 30 of protein.
And I know there's controversy over taking iodine. There's people that take it as a supplement, because I've heard so often how it'll help fibroids. People can take it. It can help hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, but I would definitely do the research on that. But, I've heard both ways from Dr. Brownstein that he's used it to treat both hyper and hypo, but you definitely want to make sure you're doing it with a doctor.
Trying to get my Mr. on the carnivore diet. He has stopped and started twice. Haven't made it past the 7-day mark yet. Suggestions? Thinking he just goes with lower carb version to start with.
He can definitely do that. And we have an amazing community too that can help provide support, which is our Healing Humanity Life. And there's a promo code going across the screen. But if he needs that extra support, please, encourage him to join the community. But if you have to transition in by just going lower carb first, he may get benefits just doing low carb, and then he can just wait and see if there's still symptoms that need to be resolved. And, he may need to go stricter, he may not.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people come into carnivore that way, go low carb, you start feeling good, and like, well, I'm almost there anyway. Start getting rid of more stuff, and you feel even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people find that they get resolution of a lot of things, but there's just some lingering things hanging on, and that they need to go full carnivore.
Gabriel says, what is your favorite carnivore dish?
Ribeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I'd say probably filet, really. I don't know what that cut was, Kerry, that we had up in the Dells.
It was called a Swiss fillet.
That right there.
I've been thinking
That's
about it
probably
ever
my
since.
favorite.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, that was a good one.
Never
Swiss
had
fillet.
that before.
Yeah, I would say ribeye also, or I don't know, man. I really like a smoked brisket. Chuck roast is good too. I go on a couple days in a row just eating the same thing over and over again. But yeah, ribeye's right up there.
I love power bowls too.
Yeah. Stevie Wood says, Papa Carnivore really getting frustrated, but not giving up. I have a lot of weight to lose and was doing really good. Then this dang stall. And keep going, Stevie. You got this.
Maybe vary what you're eating each day. Get your body, incorporate a little bit of fasting, but your body wants to settle in if you're eating pretty much the same thing every day. So you need to kind of shock your system to get it to start reacting again to what you're eating, and have some days where you eat more, days you eat less, vary the macros from day to day, have some fasting days, and just keep your body guessing. That's what helped me break my stall.
Good stuff. And I posted Lori's question too, because I think that's a similar answer right there. So hopefully that helps Lori as well. My husband, Beverly, question from Beverly. My husband is on Warfarin for AFib stroke. Is there something natural to help thin the blood to reduce dosage? I know greens thicken it.
Well, what greens do is they provide a lot of vitamin K, which happens to be the antidote for when you take too much warfarin. That's what's happening. That is the cheapest option. It's the most difficult to manage because you have to be constantly testing. But it decreases your chance of getting a stroke from the atrial fibrillation. So as long as you're in atrial fibrillation, you're going to have to be on some sort of anticoagulant. Aspirin doesn't, even though aspirin is an antiplatelet and sort of thins your blood, doesn't have the same effect as the warfarin or there are three used to be called novel because they were new, but they've been already 15, 20 years in the market that are also used. Those are more expensive is one thing, but you don't have to be monitoring the PT and INR like you have to be doing with the warfarin. Unfortunately, there are things that help with thinning your blood, like omega-3 fatty acids, aspirin, like I mentioned. There's also Plavix, but none of those are as good as these other anticoagulants in decreasing your risk of a stroke.
So, Dr. Nelson, if you have somebody who is on warfarin and they go carnivore, so you're no longer getting the leafy greens, you're no longer getting all that vitamin K, obviously you would need to be aware that you may need to monitor your PT-INR as you're making that transition. But would that be a way of needing a lower dose of warfarin if you're not getting as many leafy greens?
You know that you match the dose to whatever the results are.
Yeah.
And basically it's a matter of checking it. Your INR is too high, you lower it. It's a fastidious management, by the way. I hated it in the sense that they have to be constantly monitored when you're unstable. But yes, you probably will need, like some people that knew that they can have leafy greens, but they wanted it. Well, I would say, well, then have more or less the same amount every day,
Yeah.
and we'll adjust your INR to
Yeah.
your diet.
Be
But
consistent with what you're eating. But yes, if you do end up reducing the leafy greens, then you got to make sure you let the doctor know so that they can monitor your PT and IR. And you may need it. You may end up with a lower dose of warfarin.
yeah,
Lisa asks, what is a Powerball? That's a lottery ticket. We also have a Power Bowl.
Bowl. I probably didn't say that very clearly.
Power Bowl is beef, butter, bacon, eggs. It's like scrambled eggs with bacon and ground beef, a little bit of butter added on the top. We call it the Power Bowl. It
And you mix it all together in a bowl, and it's delicious.
gives you the power you need.
Before we go to the next one, Kerry, I want everybody that's watching, there's almost 300 people watching, just show some love for Dr. Nelson, because you know he may not be your doctor, but he is a doctor, and he's dropping some knowledge here that you're not going to find anywhere else. And you know, make sure that you go follow his YouTube channel at The Real Dr. Nelson, and show him some love over there as well. So, you know, I just want to let you know, Nelson, that we appreciate you for hopping on here and helping us out.
Week after week.
Thank
we really
you very
appreciate you.
I'll see you tomorrow. The check is in the mail.
We got to have good gifts for Dr. Nelson's 2-year carniversary for sure. No one come empty-handed. Awesome. Well, hey, we got to do the drawing for the Healing Humanity membership. Before we do that, Adam, you got any big projects coming up? Anything big on Carnivore today you want to mention?
Absolutely nothing. It's crickets still, unfortunately. And actually, that's part of the reason why I'm back on coffee is because Kerry keeps, he's like a slave driver, and I can't keep up, so I got to go back to the coffee. But no, seriously, you know, I'm ready for Boston this weekend. I can't wait to meet quite a few of you that's in the chat and get to hang out and share a little bit more about the documentary. Like Kerry said, we're working on a trailer, and if we can just get our editor to get his butt in gear, we might have that finished soon. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's jumping in and joining with us tonight, and we hope we have been able to provide some value for everybody.
Absolutely. And Dr. Nelson, at The Real Dr. Nelson, anything big coming up for you?
No, Boston. I'll be with Dr. Kiltz, introducing everyone, emceeing the event. And I'm sorry if I make a little bit light of certain situations.
Yes. I'm going to get ridiculed on how I hold a fork, and we're going to talk about Adam's brain damage.
Which I thought you had learned, by the way.
Nope.
But I've seen some recent videos. Yeah.
I've reverted back to the old method. Looking forward to that. And Lynn, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm the only one here who's not going to be at the Boston meetup, so I'm kind of jealous. And but I will be next month at the meetup in Montello, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then with my channel, you know, I mean, just sharing updates on how things are going with my health, trying to be as real and transparent as possible, sharing the ups and downs of me fighting mast cell activation syndrome and losing weight.
Love it. I have a link in the description for Adam, Dr. Nelson, and Lynn, so make sure you're subscribed and you're following them and doing some great videos over there. And before we do the drawing for the 30-day free membership, Chris Stearns, $5 super chat. Thank you, Chris. How many people do you think use carnivore as a tool rather than sticking to it long-term? Believe the word diet implies something temporary, which it isn't.
Good question. Sure,
Good
there
question.
definitely is somebody out there that does that for sure. You know,
It is a good question because
it's a good question because he gave Kerry $5. I'm kidding.
me personally, for 35 years, I've been using keto diets to lose and gain, not to gain, but when going off the diet. regain, then 40 pounds usually was the magic number, because I was using it just like that. I get to a weight, then I can go back to eating what I was eating. Totally the wrong thing to do. So I'm not. This is it. I'm very sensitive to carbohydrates still, even though my A1C has been very stable for a year and a half. I can't have the luxury of doing anything. Plus, I feel so good. It just makes me feel bad if I am going to. I don't even think about this stuff anymore. The ultra processed food, in particular. If I ever have a little bit of a plant matter, might be a pickle or some sort of nut, sometimes macadamia nuts or something like that. But I'm sticking with it.
Good stuff. It's a great question and a good discussion topic too. Thank you, Chris. I yo-yoed for years on keto until I found carnivore, and I think it's a good sort of warning for some people, because I think a lot of people do have that tendency, like, oh, I got my goal, now I can go back to eating in moderation. But I know for me, and I think many other people, a big part of the problem was addiction, and you can't moderate an addiction. And a lot of people, you're abstaining from your addiction on carnivore, and then, oh, I'll just go back to moderation, and it could put you down a path of, maybe we had someone on the channel the other day that took them off path for a year before they could get back on track, because that addiction can be so strong. So appreciate the super chat, Chris. All right, we're going to give away, let's see, the 30-day free membership. #life. We've got 48 entries. Here we go. The winner.
So many people only.
Marcy Me. Congratulations, Marcy. You've won a 30-day free membership to healinghumanity.life. Adam, how can Marcy claim her prize?
Well, Kerry, Marcy Me can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Lynn will send you a coupon code for the membership site promptly.
And if that's
Congratulations.
a play off of the band Mercy Me, they're awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. And if you didn't win and you're still interested in joining, you can get 50% off right now. Life 625. There's a link in the description below. Thank you so much, Adam, Dr. Nelson, Lynn, and everyone for all of your questions. We do this every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, so hope to see you guys on the next one. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.